After successfully overcoming his first T3 trial, Leosthenes could barely stand. Exhaustion forced him to stop, and he found shelter at the charcoal burners' camp, where an empty tent allowed him to rest among the workers who lived there. With the first light of day, he stretched and exchanged a few words with the men of the camp, also greeting the guards who watched over the surroundings. That brief companionship gave him the clarity he needed to move forward. He reorganized his belongings and, with renewed determination, set his sights on the next challenge, a T3 of Undead. He knew that to advance he had to earn reputation in Bryn, and that goal guided his every step. He marched toward the outskirts of Black Retreat, planning to set up a new camp from which to prepare for the next stage of his journey. Once he arrived at the camp, everyone gathered around the bonfire. The crackling flames accompanied their conversations as each one made sure the preparations were in order. Nothing could be left behind before Leosthenes set out on his next mission. After those final checks, there came a brief rest. Only a few fleeting moments in time. Leosthenes closed his eyes in prayer, seeking strength and clarity from above. Then, calmly, he prepared some protein eggs that restored energy to his weary body. With renewed spirit and his gear ready, he rose to his feet. The path awaited him, and Leosthenes stepped forward with determination toward his mission among the undead. The stacking damage reduction he gains when the rocks cling to his body, together with the stone armor that surrounds him, grants him a sturdy defense to set up the battlefield and leave his enemies exposed to the crushing blows of his flail. But this is only the beginning. Once we acquire Tier 4 gear, the natural path will be shifting into Battle Mage, with greater energy regeneration and fewer chances of backfire from the ever-growing number of spells. That shift will also bring a new choice of equipment. Medium armor will be left behind, and will surely turn to light armor, since true defense will lie in magic, not in the weight of steel. A transition that will grant Leosthenes greater fluidity and an even deeper command of his arcane power. What a massacre Leosthenes unleashed! The undead never stood a chance. He first secured the battlefield, raising his wall of rocks and fortifying his defense until it became unbreakable. Then, with the composure of one who controls the fight, he waited for the perfect moment to unleash the fury of his flail. The blend of strategy and raw power turned the clash into a slaughter, leaving no room for resistance. The fight was tighter than expected, yet Leosthenes managed to recover at the right moment. His sturdy defense and composure allowed him to overcome the immediate danger. However, he hadn't realized one crucial detail. The air he was breathing was laced with toxins, an invisible threat slowly wearing him down. Perhaps he still carries a potion to detoxify himself. We shall see if he decides to use it before it's too late. The boss noticed our presence at the worst possible time. Leosthenes had almost no energy left, unable to call upon his abilities. Poison coursed through his veins, weakening him with every passing second. And to make matters worse, the creature was not alone. It was well accompanied by its minions. Everything seemed stacked against him. Now there is no room for brute force. It will be wit, cunning, and Leosthenes' ingenuity that will make the difference and grant him a way out amidst adversity.